This saw and table workbench combination has been the best thing I've ever done in this workshop. But in doing so, I've created a little problem. And that little problem is starting to have a real big impact. One that you wouldn't think would be so great, but honestly, this is dragging down every workpiece I make at the moment. You see, the problem I've got is that I've knocked everything out of square. It sounds a simple solution, but it can be trickier than you think. So today I'm going to have a look at a little bit of table saw maintenance and how to make sure that all your tools are in perfect square. And because you're my favourite viewer, I'm going to show you this little kit that I've got that is 10xing the efficiency that I'm getting out of my table saw cuts. But you'll have to stick around for that one. So to begin with, we need to remove this blade and clean it. But before we work on our saw, we should really unplug the thing. Safety first and all. So once we get our bolts loosened and the nut off, we can remove our blade and get on with job number one. Because a clean blade is a happy blade. Now I've got a little trick that I use here. You can spend a fortune on cleaning things and the special contraptions for your blades to go in. But quite honestly, just stealing one of your wife's washing up tablets will do the trick fantastically. Now I like to go in multiple different directions, making sure that I get all the gunk off of my blade. You'll be amazed at how much sap or glue or other bits manage to accumulate on this blade when it's spinning. So a clean blade will cut nice. A quick rinse and a dry off, and we're all done for part one. So with your blade nice and clean now, it's time to put it back in. Always making sure it goes the right way. Most blades have a handy little arrow that tells you which way around it goes. The blade always spinning towards yourself. Slide that back in. Now securing your blade is just like any other process in life. You want your nuts nice and tight, but not so tight that there's any strangulation. Nobody likes overly tight nuts. So with everything nice and tight, we might as well take the opportunity to just clean out any of that dust that's accumulated that doesn't get picked up by the dust extractor in normal circumstance. The throat plate goes back on, and once this is tightened up, it's time to make sure that everything is nice and level. For this, I'm using just a straight piece of angle iron. That way I can run it over and feel if there's any ridges or if it's catching anywhere. If it is, take out your little Allen key and adjust accordingly. Then rerun to make sure that it's smooth again. So with our blade clean and the throat plate flat and smooth, we can now move on to what I think the main problem that I've had with this saw is. And it's quite simply, looking at the front and coming back at 90 degrees, my blade's not been quite level, and I think either the front end out or the back end out. Not quite sure. Every saw is different with how it's made and where it pivots, but that's the problem that I think I've got. To check this out, the way I'm going to do that is using this tool that I've been sent by Banggood. Now, for full disclosure, yes, Banggood have sent me this, but this is something that I'm going to review and give you an honest opinion and tell you whether it does actually measure anything, and two, when we get onto some practice cuts, to see whether it does actually improve things for your saw. So the way this works is quite simple. This slots into your T-track. You pick a tooth, line the device up just so it's touching, lock that in, and we're going to set the dial to 0. We then, because I'm forgetful, just going to make a mark on the back, because what you want to do is make sure you use that tooth all the way along. So what we're going to do now is spin that tooth over, so it's over on the other side, and we're going to move this device backwards and have a look for any deflection. Should be able to see there is we've moved from 0 back here, so we need to adjust this blade. Now every saw is different, so have a look at your instructions, but for mine there is under there, I don't know if you can see it, somewhere up in here, there is a little knob that you turn, and you loosen it and then turn the knob, and that will move the blade accordingly. Let's see if we can get this to work. There we have it, pretty much back on zero. Well, wow, what a piece of kit that is. I've done that setup before using a tri-square and also a different type of square, the adjustable ones. I genuinely can't tell you how much easier it is with that thing, because you can see it, you get the visual representation as that dial moves. You know that something's not right. And likewise, when you're trying to reset it, you can watch it whilst you're turning the knob underneath, and that way you can get it centered and absolutely bang on. Such a good piece of kit, nice and cheap. I highly recommend that one. It's also really well made, so if you've got big fat sausage fingers like mine that like to clatter around and drop things and smack into things, then you're not going to break it on day one. Always a bonus. Link down in the description. So now that we've got our blade square front to back, it's now to make sure that we've got it square top to bottom. There's two ways to do this, and it just depends what you like, really. First way is to use one of these. These are great. This one is from a brand called Trend, and quite simply, you set it on the flat, zero it out, stick it on the top, and we should be coming in at about 90. If we're not, just adjust your blade accordingly. And the second way is to just get a square, one that you're happy with square. This is a new one I've got, again from Banggood. I'll leave a link to this. A bit oversized for this task, but again, you can see that this is touching top and bottom. So I'm happy with that square. And the great thing is you can use these tricks for anything, even for setting up your fence. Make sure that's straight, which again it is. You can do it for setting up front to back. And then what you'll find is if you look in your manufacturer's books, there's little screws all over where you can just change a couple of millimeters to make sure that you get this at 90 degrees. Now, the final part I wanted to talk to you about today was about setting up accurately, because this is something that I've struggled with as well. Now, I might have a measure on the fence over here, and I can always measure with a tape measure. But one of the things I really struggle with is if I have to come back to something, is getting that same size repeatedly. And that's where this Enjoywood set of blocks really comes in for me. This is a game changer. You've got a whole box full of them, different sizes. You can take two and add them together to get to any size that you need. That way you can set up and make sure that you've got the correct height every time. You can use them to create distance from the blade to the fence. And quite frankly, you can use them all over the place. I've started using these to set the height on my router table because I find that's really beneficial and that really helps. So like I said at the beginning, if you're looking to really increase the level of your woodworking, it's some really simple things that can take you from that beginner into that intermediate level. And one of those things is accuracy. There's no point trying to cut something and make a box or make something to fit into another part if it's not going to be accurate and not going to fit well. And I know some of these things sound quite boring. They are. We all want to get on with the meat and the guts of cutting and making and gluing and sticking and screwing and drilling and all that good stuff. But if everything isn't square and everything isn't set up right in the first place, it's all kind of in vain because it falls to pieces. And I know, because I've made so many things that aren't square that were really meant to be square, and it really bites you in the backside on the back end of a project when you can't get everything to fit together once you've made it all. Likewise, the problem you get then is trying to come back to replicate cuts. It's really difficult, but having things like these setup blocks is actually starting to change how I do things and how accurate that I'm being. Like I said at the beginning, I'm going to leave some affiliate links down below. I'm going to lead you out with some test cuts, and we can see just how much improvement there is on some of these cuts. And that just leaves me to say a couple of things. I'm Ross. This is Fat Hog Woodworking. Thank you yet again for watching. It really is appreciated, and I hope to see you on the next build or tool review video. Have a good night in your shop.